this is in the condition they're going to bring it back to me. So if you can see, that's actually already starting to rust because that's pure metal. Just from the atmosphere, it picks up moisture and starts rusting. This is a scrap piece of steel I tested the bead blaster on, and this is what it looks like after they bead blasted. Now it's dirty, but here's a good spot. This is exactly what it looks like right there. It looks like pure metal. If you look at it under a microscope, it looks like little mountains. Okay, and that piece was worse than anything on here. Okay, now after you paint it, this is what it's going to look like. So you can still, depending on the paint you use and if you sand it. So this is sanded, or this wasn't sanded. I just threw some cheap paint on here to stop these from rusting because I'm going to use them again. If I do use them again, I might sand these down depending on where they're going to be mounted or bolted. But you can see the integrity of the steel has not been compromised. They're 100% strong. There's absolutely no reason you can't use them. So this is before. That would be what I would get them back as, and then after you paint them. And that's cheap paint. If you use good paint, it'll be much better. But that's the vision for this whole unit. And then here's a better look at it. You know, all these valves are going to get inspected and checked, cleaned up. All these hoses, I'm going to have them all made brand new, and just have everything gone through. So here's a tag. Looks like somebody had already gone through. Inland truck service. They have a serial number on there and a date. Looks like 5/21/20. So somebody did at one time, you know, take this apart and reseal it. I'll clean it up, but like I said, have faith. I know it looks bad, and I know people are thinking, Jesus, what a rusted piece of junk. But don't worry, the bead blaster does miracles, and we'll clean it up. I don't know, I haven't decided if I'm gonna keep all these there or take them off. Those are aftermarket, not part of the unit. Like these are part of the unit, and these are part of the unit. So you got 1, 2, 3 sets. This somebody aftermarket, they added to it. I don't know if I'm gonna keep all that. I don't know, depending on where I put them and what boxes I put. So they put another box over there. It's all for the holders, for those extensions. So there you go. Don't worry, I know it looks rough. But here's tomorrow's mission. If I have time, I'm gonna take that off. That's pretty easy. You're gonna get into those bolts right there. Those bolts hold it together to that bracket right there. We're gonna have to undo that assembly. It's an air actuator. So that turns it to free spool or locks it into place exactly. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to see how that works. I'll play with it, but it's a massive air cylinder is what it is. You can see air going in, air going out. Clearly holds a lot of pressure. We're gonna have to figure out where that leak is coming from, take care of that. We're gonna clean and inspect that chain. So that's kind of, this is a planetary winch if I'm not mistaken, but again, I don't know 100%. I don't know much about winches. I'm gonna have to educate myself on these. So, but there you go, it's a Tulsa winch, and that's gonna come off tomorrow if I have time. We're gonna take that off, you know, strap it with the grab it with the forklift from here, or strap it with the forklift, lift it up. I'm sure that's gonna be, you know, several hundred pounds. We're gonna take that off, and then we're gonna take this is called a T-bar. We're gonna take all that apart all the way down to the bottom and get all that off and into pieces on pallets, and that's gonna get ready to go. So sorry if I moved the camera too fast. But that's gonna get all taken off. Those cylinders will get taken off and just cleaned and inspected. You know, I'll probably paint, sand, wire wheel these, and clean those up and go from there. I'll inspect everything. There you go. So that's a big cylinder in the middle. The whole unit slides with that cylinder. So it slides on those tracks. Oh, where are they at? You can't see it from there. Here we go. Okay, so you see those tracks right there. They're full of grease and dirt. Those are all gonna get cleaned. I might even take that cylinder out. I don't know, it's not a big deal to take it out. You undo it from there, and then undo all the hoses. You'll need a forklift, and we could probably lift it up and maybe even take that out when we get in here and clean it. So we really need to check the integrity of the steel and all the stress points, and make sure it doesn't have any hairline cracks, and make sure it's safe, because you don't want to put all this work in here and then put this thing to use lifting a 105,000 pound truck, moving it down the freeway, dragging it behind you, and then all of a sudden something breaks. So we definitely have to make sure it's safe and make sure the steel hasn't been compromised, and hopefully everything turns out okay. Well, there you go.